How's it going, guys? Winter Kills here, and welcome to a brand new episode of One Deck One Month featuring Photon Galaxy. And if you haven't checked out the previous episode, I'll leave a link to it down in the description below, so you guys can get all caught up. But speaking of last week, I'll sum it up really quick. We went 1-3, which is an absolutely terrible record. We got completely pummeled, so hopefully we can turn things around this week. I also titled last week's episode our toughest challenge yet because I genuinely think Photon Galaxy is going to be one of the hardest decks to try and go 4-0 with in this particular series. I mean, it has good combos, it has decent end boards, right? It can OTK here and there, but it is fragile and it has a hard time playing through multiple interruptions of already established boards. So it's definitely going to be an uphill battle, but part of me still feels like it is possible. I don't think it's totally impossible, but good news for this week is that the new set King's Court has officially released. And that's important to us because in here is a new Galaxy support card in that of Hyper Galaxy. Now, I'm actually just about to leave and go to a friend's house where a bunch of us are going to be opening up boxes of King's Court, and hopefully between all of us, I can get myself a playset of that new card, and who knows, maybe we can get ourselves a fancy collector's rare, although I doubt it. We just need a playset of Hyper Galaxy. It is a super rare, so should be pretty easy to pull. And yeah, we're going to do some play testing after that as well. That's going to be the game plan. We're going to do some testing with that new card, see if it's worthwhile in the main, although I think right now it is definitely going to be a one of in the deck since it is searchable by Photon Lord and Galaxy Wizard more importantly. So, and I also like it because it kind of acts as an interruption while also being an extender. So I don't think it's terrible. The only thing that I'm a bit iffy on with that card is the overall activation requirement, us needing a monster with 2,000 or more and our opponent also needing one too. But again, you know, it's going to take some testing to figure it out, and that's what we're about to go do. So hopefully we can get our Hyper Galaxies and hopefully we get some good valuable testing in. So I arrived at my friend Alex's house and we did crack our packs, got our Hyper Galaxies, and we proceeded to do some testing until about 2 a.m. where I decided to head back home. Everybody, welcome to Saturday. It is currently just after 5:40, quarter to 6 o'clock, and we got to be leaving very, very soon. But I want to just do like a quick recap of how last night went. We did open our box of King's Court. I actually filmed a pack opening video with my friend Alex, who'll be uploading it onto his channel at ValargeTCG. I'll leave a link to it in the description because the video probably should be out by the time this one goes out, and if it's not, I'll definitely post a link to it in the community tab so you guys can see how we did. But there's one thing that's for sure, and is we did secure our playset of Hyper Galaxy. Now, I've been getting a lot of questions about, you know, Winter, what do you think about Hyper Galaxy? How good is it in Photon Galaxy? And I played quite a few testing matches, mainly against Virtual World, some against Prank Kids. Two very, very hard matchups for this deck, if I'm being totally honest. But it just didn't seem that great, especially since I had the deck built to go first. It definitely seems more of a going second card, obviously, just by the nature of it needing a card on either player's field in order to activate. So I kind of get this idea that maybe I should side it in if I know I'm going to go second. Because it is searchable, removable off of Galaxy Wizard at the end of the day. Although, if you have to use your Wizard search on that, it means you're missing out on other extenders. But then again, you know, if you already have like an Afterglow in hand, and you have another monster and feel like a Thrasher, you know, maybe you could go through to clear a card the opponent has, get a Galaxy Eyes on board, and then make the Afterglow live. So, I am going to play one copy in the main deck tonight. Only one, and I think I'm going to side the other two. I also found space to fit Galaxy Trance back into the main deck, I know, and the only reason I put Trance back into the main deck was because, much like how I kept in the one copy of Night to have as a super strong follow-up, I wanted another card in the deck that I could put in to possibly search in situations where I'm very low on card advantage, and in situations where, let's say I have a Galaxy Wizard search, right, or I have a Soldier search, and I only have one of each of those per se. Without Trance in the deck, there are no really good one-of search targets to make a play, and Galaxy Trance really is the only card to do that. So yeah, overall, I think Trance will just give us a really good, powerful one-of to search that is kind of just really good on its own. and really doesn't need any other cards to make it good. Obviously, you need the graveyard setup, of course. You need the life points, but outside of that, it's just a good card to search off of that one wizard interaction. So I think I'm going to put that back in the main deck, the 1 Hyper Galaxy, 2 in the side. I'm going to tweak the side deck a little bit right now before I leave. I don't have much time to do it, so it's probably not going to be the best side deck, but we'll try to make it work for today. And I was also thinking about putting back Infinity and Nova into the extra deck, and I really wanted to cut the Hippo Shinogen and the Pleiades for it. The only reason I didn't want to cut Hippo Shinogen was because, like, Striker is back into the meta, and with Shizuku screwing everything up, it kind of makes our Photon Sanctuary useless. But then again, if we're using Sanctuary while Shizuku's out, we could just go into Ahashima instead, so we don't really need it. So I may sneak that Nova and Infinity back in. I'll let you guys know if I do or not a little bit later. But yeah, let's go ahead and go to locals. Alright, so a quick update after round 3. It's been a rough day today, man. We are 0-3, which is not surprising with this deck. Round 1 we played against Cyber Dragon, it was a terrible matchup. It's always a terrible matchup, mainly just because of the contact fusioning. We have a lot of Cyber Dragon players here, and that's the main reason why I don't play Infinity and Nova. So I'm glad I didn't actually make that switch to the deck going in today. And round 2, we played against Dragoonity Dragon Link. We actually managed to take a game there in game 2. Hyper Galaxy actually did come in okay, but we took that game with just an OTK in game 2. But game 3 came down to time. There was only like 2 minutes left on the clock or so, and I had to use Galaxy Trance in order to make a play, which unfortunately puts me down 2,000 life points. And yeah, we weren't able to win that game because he just kept comboing and comboing. I was able to negate his Ramus, but it just didn't matter. He had so many extenders in hand, and he took the match fair and square in time. And then the last round, which you guys probably just saw me commentate over, it was a very good and grindy game 1. Really happy with it. The deck just doesn't have that good of a grind like the Generator deck does, so it's not surprising that we lost in game 1. Just did not have the resources left. I tried to go into Hippo Shinogen, and I had already banished it off of my Prosperity, which I was kind of trying not to do that, but I just did it anyways, and I kind of regret doing that. And then game 2, we opened up a really, really bad hand, as you saw, and yeah, really couldn't do anything past that. So it is now round 4, or at least about to be round 4, and I'm actually not going to play in the last round. Normally I would play it out, but today's kind of a special occasion. And the reason there wasn't any feature matches, like where I was recording my own matches, because I actually forgot a piece of a tripod at home, so I wasn't able to film any of my matches, unfortunately, so I apologize for that. And we'll try to make it work, though. Hope you guys are still enjoying it. And round 4 feature match will be table 1, and then we'll get a first place deck profile, and then we'll be out of here to give my final thoughts and everything on this particular locals and what we need to do going forward. So. We're all set, ready to leave. Got our first place deck profile. Picked up some more Pokemon cards. And yeah, despite all of the technical difficulties and horrible records, it could have been worse, right? So let's go home and let's wrap things up. Oh, and one more thing too. This all stemmed from me getting here very late and me being very rushed to get here. So let that just be a lesson that if you're ever going to any event Whether it be a locals, a YCS, or a regional, always be prepared. Always have everything ready ahead of time. Always be like even an hour early. Just be prepared. You don't want to be rushed because it just makes you a worse player. You forget things like I did today, and just very easy to get frustrated. So always just try to be on time and be prepared. Alright, so it is now currently Sunday, and a lot of you are probably wondering why there was no match footage at all. And I already explained why I couldn't record my own matches, apart from the feature matches, because I did forget something at home. Funny story about my feature match is that when I went to sit down and play, I had already hit the start recording button, and then I guess I must have been unsure whether or not I hit it, so I hit it again, and it stopped the recording that was already going. So unfortunately, the Photon versus Generator match, you guys won't get to see in this or just as a feature match, which is really unfortunate because that game one we had was really good. So apologies to the Generator player if you're watching. I completely biffed that. We had a great game one. It was really, really grindy. I tried several times to just get to 62 and try to punch over one of his generator tokens for game because it surely would have been enough. But every time he just had something. He had a chalice off of a condemned witch. He had multiple imperms. He just had plenty of ways to stop the OTK, and I had to kind of make a plan B play every time. I ended up summoning number 38 at one point, and I just could not keep up the grind. I mean, I kept up for a little while, but after a certain point, I could not keep up any longer. And ended up just not having any resources left, and he took that game 2. As I think I already might have mentioned, I did brick on a very bad hand, and I think it might have been met with some interruption. Did not end well. And as you guys also know, I did not play in the 4th and final round, and the main reason for that was because, one, I was getting a little bit of a headache, and I didn't feel like it would be a very valuable use of time playing the 4th round of a locals where I was already 0-3, so I just decided to spend that time filming some other things for this particular episode, especially since I knew there was going to be little to no match footage, but now there's no match footage, so I'm glad I did that looking back. But it's very obvious that the build needs to be changed, and I know one of the first things people are probably going to say is maybe you should add in more hand traps, which I do want to do. I don't think Gamma is the move anymore. I've bricked on Driver one too many times. In fact, I did brick on that card in the second game of our round 3 match against the Generator deck. Now, I know, one thing I've always said is that, the Driver Gamma engine is a great hand trap engine, and the fact that if you draw the one of Driver is not really a good reason to cut it because, the goods outweigh the bad, obviously. But I think just for this format in general, I should just drop the Gamma engine and put in things like Ash, maybe Ghost Bell, maybe Droll and Lockbird in the main, maybe Impermanence, things like that, because those are tending to be a little bit better right now. But the problem is it's just not as easy as like adding in hand traps, right? I obviously have to cut things from the main deck to fit them in, and doing that is going to be hard because Photon Galaxy, and a lot of people don't know, is not like an invoked Dogmatica deck. You don't have this very small engine with tons of room to throw in hand traps and other board breaking cards. The deck just does not have the room. So it's going to be very difficult trying to find space to maybe get in 6 to 9 hand traps in this deck. I don't even know if that's going to be the ultimate fix. I thought about maybe adding in more real traps like Strike and Judgment to the main deck, or just Strike and Impermanence, or maybe even Strike and Torrential, because there is good synergy with Felgrant and number 90 being able to be protected from, card effects and things like that. So it's just going to be a real challenge trying to find the space for more hand traps, because again, it's a very tight deck list. It just is. The engine is so big, there's so many extenders that have to be played in the deck, and a lot of people don't understand that. Because again, Photon Galaxy isn't that good of a deck. It doesn't have that many well-refined cards, so at the end of the day, it's one of those decks that takes 3 to even 4 cards to really pull off a good combo. And if you have hand traps in your hand, it's obviously less cards in your hand to work with to make your said combo if you have to go first, which this is a going first deck. So it's going to be a lot of back and forth. I think the start of the next episode is going to basically be focused on really starting the deck over again from the ground up and try to make it as best as we can. And of course, with that, some more testing this week as well. Some real good testing, not just random matches. I do want to make it a point to get some real testing in and try to make some actual improvements. But next episode is going to start with us, basically building the deck from scratch again. And I hopefully will be on time to locals this week. And that should make things a lot easier, because getting there all late and rushed did not help our situation whatsoever. So that's pretty much all I want to say about that experience. Am I disappointed? Yes. Disappointed in the deck? Not. I mean, the deck did pretty much all it could do. The end boards are okay, but they're only so good, right? Felgrand number 90 is really the only decently consistent board the deck can make. I know some people opted for Infinity, but like that takes up too much extra deck space and ultimately is just not easy to make rank 5s in the deck. It's so much easier to make more rank 8s. But yeah, that's enough rambling. We're going to do some more tweaking, and we'll just see where we can take the deck. This is going to be a rough month, as I've already said. And again, yeah, I just apologize for the lack of match footage. I know that's something a lot of people like to see in this type of video, but just due to some unforeseen things, that was not able to happen in this video. So I do again apologize for that. And if you guys want to see more of my videos, click over here to check them out. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment if you haven't already done so. And as always, WinterKill sign out. We'll see you guys in the next one. And as always, I want to give a special shout out to all of the members that support this channel. And a special thanks, of course, goes to our Divine level channel members, and they are Cadillacs84 and Pony Star. Thank you guys so much, as always, for your continued and extremely generous support of this channel.